Well, there you go. This is what December in California looks like. Hey everybody, it's your old pal Robert from ThrillRide.com. How you doing? So as you can see, I'm down here on the beach in Southern California, Santa Monica specifically, with the beautiful Santa Monica Pier behind me. And yeah, it's December in Southern California, and it's I think it's gonna hit maybe 65 today. Sun is shining. Oh, I love that smell of the salt air. And you know, I just don't get down to the beach nearly as often as I should. I think most Southern Californians would say that we don't take advantage of this amazing, pristine natural resource that we have. So gonna try to end the year taking advantage of said beauty, and you know, maybe ride a roller coaster or Ferris wheel too. But it was such a perfect day. Just felt like a good day to kind of wrap up this year, start looking forward to 2023 and enjoying some of the best that SoCal has to offer. And I haven't been to the pier in a while, maybe a couple of years, probably since before the pandemic, and it holds a soft spot in my heart. Big fan coming down here when I was a kid growing up, and it's nice to see they put some care and love back into it over the last 20 or 30 years. So anyway, let's go have some fun. Finding parking is always a bit of a challenge down here, but today wasn't so bad. There's a little spot not too far, $7 for the whole day. Oh, look at that beautiful little amusement center there. So yeah, the pier has been around for quite some time. Obviously the southern coast of California, a long, proud tradition of amusement piers that used to line the shores all the way up and down the coast. And kind of a shame we don't have that anymore. Oh, look at that. There goes the West Coaster. Love it. But this one survived. And though the amusements went away for a while, they did kind of reinvest a few years, well, not a few years back. Was it the 80s, 90s maybe? Built the Ferris wheel, the roller coaster, some other little flat rides. And yeah, so it's great. And of course it joins over here the legendary carousel, and that has been a mainstay of the pier for many, many decades and featured in a lot of Hollywood production, film and television. And of course the most famous probably is the Sting feature film. Oh yeah, nice combination of the old and new here. And of course it's backlit by the sun, but this is one of my favorite neon signs in all of California. This beautiful arch over the road down onto the pier. And of course at night, oh, just magnificent. Well, that is fortuitous timing. 2022 was the 100-year anniversary of the Philadelphia Toboggan Company Carousel number 62. And here it is, some of the classic architecture, and has been a part of the pier for quite a long time. And here's a beautiful plaque on the wall. The Hippodrome, also known as the Carousel Building, was built in 1916 by famous carousel carver Charles Loof, who of course we learned a whole lot more about when I went down and visited the Lida Line down in Long Beach way back when. Its unique combination of Byzantine, Moorish, and California design made it easily identifiable among the festive, eclectic architecture of the Santa Monica Bay in the early 20th century. And it is interesting how these types of rides are referred to as both merry-go-rounds and carousels. And for a long time, I was under the impression that there was a difference, that if it spun clockwise, it was one thing, and if it spun counterclockwise, it was another. And then was, I think in the last year or so, kind of informed that they're actually completely interchangeable. Merry-go-round, carousel, makes no difference which way they go. But if you've heard otherwise, please leave a comment in the section down below. Well, unfortunately, the carousel is closed today. It's closed on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So, yeah, I won't be able to go inside, but know that it is here, and it is a very important piece of Southern California amusement history. Well, there's just a peek inside at that historical beauty. Huh, yeah, someday. Like I said, got to make it down here to the coast more often, so I shall return. I love these octopi encrusted benches here in front of the tables. Yeah, octopi are an important part of the graphics and iconography down here on the pier. And of course, the Santa Monica Pier is the official end to historic Route 66. That's a bucket list thing. One day too, I'm gonna make the whole trek across good old Route 66. I love the big heavy wood beams that make up the floor of the pier. Very traditional. Yeah, this is one of those places where you come for the rides, but you stay for the incredible ambience. So yeah, when I was very, very young growing up out here in SoCal, I did get to Pacific Ocean Park, which was that big seaside pier amusement center that survived for a very short period in the late 50s into the early 60s, and was one of the first post-Disney parks to really kind of go after a full themed experience here. And they took an old amusement pier that had a roller coaster and some other rides, and kind of redressed it all and added a whole bunch of new themed attractions. And I only went again once when I was very young, and boy, my memories of it are almost non-existent. But if I had a time machine to go back and ride some of the rides that used to be there, like a very mysterious dark ride called the Deep, and of course the huge attraction at the end of the pier, the Mystery Island Banana Train, I think that's what it was called. Anyway, Arrow did the ride system. I mean, just an incredible kind of mountain with all kinds of special effects, and so cool. And I've always said that this pier here is great, and I love it, and I'm so glad they've got the rides. If they just put in a little dark ride, and it doesn't have to be a scary one, you know, kind of an ocean theme thing, but just kind of embrace that part of SoCal's amusement pier past, and then this place would be well nigh perfect. I do like the fact that the vibe here is definitely a combination of old and new. Certainly a lot of great neon down here too, and this kind of big entry sign towards the end of the pier for Pacific Park with the giant, very artistic representation of an octopus who I believe is called Inky. That mascot has a name, but yeah, look at that. Oh, gorgeous. Well, there's a look at the ride tickets menu board, and it looks like the Sea Dragon is the only ride that is not quite operational for the day. Maybe that's coming in 2023, but yeah, so they got a decent little selection here. This is an absolutely fantastic theme of a Tilt-A-Whirl. Oh my God, so brilliant. One of my favorite flat rides, and maybe the favorite theme I've ever seen. That's awesome. I like the seagull lifeguard that stands proud over this little kind of airplane spinner. Very nice. So I know they've named this little nacho stand for the whack-a-mole games that's near, but it feels like a lost opportunity. Wouldn't that be better guac-a-mole nachos? So unfortunately, they do not allow filming on the coaster, but they did let us go around twice. That was something they used to do pretty regularly, and they were not running them around the course twice this morning. But yeah, by the time I got on, we got 2 runs, so it's a pretty gentle ride. But man, the view is so great, and the smell of the air as you're racing around it. up there, it's pretty awesome. So fortunately, they also do have a lot of single riders on the Ferris wheel, so we're not going to get up there today, but that's also 10 bucks and also worth it because, again, the view is it's kind of one of a kind. I love the new trains. It's kind of classic hot rod look. Maybe they're not that new, but the last time I was here, they had some pretty generic looking trains. So yeah, they've really stepped up the theme on the West Coast. I like it. I'm not much of a huge fan of these swinging boat rides, but I like the fact that they dressed up their little sea dragon with some nice landscaping here. Yeah, that's well done. Of course, yeah, for some reason this is not open at the moment, but is coming soon, we're promised. Yeah, it looks like all these gulls know where the food is. Yeah, definitely staying close by. Yeah, look at the pier. It is standing room only today. Kind of the perfect day for it. And the sound of the waves hitting the shore. One of my favorite sounds in the whole world. Well, this is cool. Just walking down towards the very end of the pier, they have some reprints of historical information about the attempts to bring the pier back. So yeah, there it was back in the 80s was when they decided that it was either time to preserve or lose it forever. Well, there it is. We are at the very end of the pier. And this is the very, very end of the Mother Road, America's Main Street. And they have a tribute here to Robert Waldsmeyer. Amazing. So Bob Waldsmeyer has often been referred to as the Johnny Appleseed of Route 66, leaving works of art scattered along the way as kind of incentive for more and more people to travel the Mother Road. So yeah, something I just learned today for the first time. That is super cool. And of course the busking scene is alive and well here on the pier. There are several kind of competing musical acts going all at once, but right here is a beautiful restaurant at the very edge called Maria's Soul. I've not eaten here in forever, but as you can imagine, it's a pretty lovely spot to get a treat. When you come all the way out to the front, or the very tip of the pier, there is this lower platform for fishing, and you can turn around and get a look back underneath the pilings. That's pretty cool. Yeah, wow. I love barnacles and stuff at the base. Oh yeah, love the ocean. It's nice. All over the pier they have these markers that explain some of the famous landmarks, like La Monica Ballroom. Awesome. There's another one celebrating something called Sinbad's and Moby's Dock. Built as a banquet hall in 1918 and originally located next to the bowling and billiards building. Structure most commonly known as Sinbad's helped define the pier's profile for nearly 75 years. And of course, Muscle Beach is indeed world famous. Kind of associate that more with Venice than Santa Monica, but I guess that is right next door. And they do have one of these trapeze schools. I guess it's based in New York, but they have a Los Angeles division here, and that's also kind of feeling like a bucket list item for me someday. Definitely not today, but maybe someday. Yeah, that looks terrifying and fun in equal measure. That is a very big swing for adults. Neat. I'll tell you, that Shark Frenzy tilt-a-whirl, man, I love it so much. So I also just realized they've got this beautiful Christmas tree made up out of string lights here on the West Coaster lift hill, which is pretty great. Yeah. So that looks beautiful from a distance at night on the beach. I like how they have two bumper car setups, one for the big kids and then one for the really little kids. That's very cute. It's got to be the world's smallest bumper car arena. It's only the smallest one I've ever seen. I mentioned earlier Pacific Ocean Park, this long lost amusement pier here in Southern California. I just would like to recommend one of my favorite books on the history of themed entertainment generally, and certainly about that park in particular. Pacific Ocean Park, The Rise and Fall of Los Angeles' Space-Age Nautical Pleasure Pier, written by Christopher Merrick and Dominic Priori. I believe it came out in 2010. Utterly spectacular, a wealth of amazing information. And again, the descriptions of some of the dark rides in there are just mouth-watering. Oh, to go back again and see what those must have been like. But yeah, maybe someday we'll get a little throwback attraction here at Pacific Park. Again, really would love to see a little fun, all ages friendly nautical dark ride. Maybe someday. I like that Pier Burger bills itself as the last burger on land, because I guess that's true. A few feet further, we are officially over the water. So. All right, I think that is going to bring this one to a close. So, as always, thanks so much for coming along. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this quick look at a place in Southern California that I really should spend more time at. I didn't buy an annual pass, and I kind of regret that now. I think next time I'm here, I'm going to do that. But yeah, what a lovely spot to be in December of 2022. Hard to believe it is so cold in so many other parts of the country. Again, I feel for all my friends stuck in less hospitable climes. And here is wishing for a very happy new year for every one of us. Really hoping 2023 kind of turns some things around, because there's a lot that needs turning around. All right, take care, and we will catch you in the next one.